Be honest for a second. When was the last time you closed Instagram at 2 a.m., stomach tight, thinking, I've ruined my life? Everyone my age is already ahead of me. They are posting weddings, babies, promotions. You are eating over the sink, liking their photos with one hand and wanting to throw your phone against the wall with the other. And the worst part is not just what they post. It is that you quietly hate the version of you who has nothing like that to post back. If that mix of envy, shame and quiet panic feels uncomfortably familiar, this video is for you. You are not crazy. You are just the only one admitting it out loud, alone with a bright screen in the middle of the night. There is a quiet truth in your 20s and 30s almost no one says out loud. You can be doing all the normal things, working or studying, paying your bills, seeing people sometimes, and still feel as if everyone else has stepped into their real life while you are stuck on the loading screen, watching and waiting for something to begin. Maybe that is you tonight. You come home, drop your bag in the same place, reheat something simple, sit on the couch with your phone. You open social media, just for a minute, and it hits again: engagements, babies, promotions, friends abroad, people buying houses, renovating kitchens, soft life vlogs. Outwardly you are functioning. Inside, one sentence hums: everyone else is moving forward. Why am I still here? It is like watching everyone else step through a door into real adulthood, while you are stuck in the hallway, holding your coat, pretending you are not freezing. Most people looking at your life from the outside would probably say you are doing fine. You get up, you go to work or class, you answer messages, you show up for birthdays, you laugh in the right places. Maybe you even travel sometimes, post something nice, seem busy enough to pass as doing okay. It looks like a normal young adult life, the kind no one questions. But inside, it feels different. Inside there is a constant sense that you are slightly out of sync, like you missed a hidden briefing everyone else somehow received. Maybe you sit at a dinner where everyone is your age and every conversation circles back to partners, children, mortgages, career tracks, moving to the next level. People joke about getting old, about finally adulting, clinking glasses over punchlines about responsibility and ticking boxes. You nod along and try to keep your face relaxed. Someone raises a glass and says, "To all of us growing up." You lift your glass too, and for half a second you feel like a fraud. You are not even sure what exactly you are supposed to be growing into. You go home, close the door, and the silence hits harder than usual, wrapping around you like a question you cannot answer. You replay the evening in your head on a loop. They have plots, you think. They are in the next chapter. What chapter am I in? What is my story even about? Did I miss my turn? This is its own kind of loneliness, different from just sitting in an empty room with no one to text and nothing obvious to do. It is not just the loneliness of having no one to message. It is being the extra in everyone else's movie, same age, different rhythm, no clear storyline when everyone else seems to be following one. Your life feels like background footage, useful for atmosphere but never the point, never the main narrative anyone is watching. Sometimes you almost gaslight yourself. You tell yourself, objectively, my life is not that bad. People have it worse. I should not complain. And yet when the lights are off and the noise dies down, a harsher voice breaks through, sharper than any comment online, landing right in the middle of your chest. That voice asks, what is wrong with me? Why am I not where I am supposed to be by now? Did I screw it up? Did I miss the only window? Part of you is convinced this is not just a rough patch. It feels like a verdict, like the results of an exam you did not know you were taking until the mark arrived. It is as if some invisible jury already decided you failed the test of being a proper adult, and now you are quietly serving your sentence in a small apartment lit by blue light from other people's lives. Their stories glow on your screen while you sit in the dark, wondering how you became the cautionary tale you used to pity. Let us pause here. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. You are not broken. This mix of loneliness and "I am behind" is not proof that you have failed at adulthood. It is a sign that something in you is awake, paying attention, and refusing to live your one life purely on autopilot just because everyone else seems to. So in this video we are going to do something dangerous but honest. First, we will name this very specific kind of loneliness you keep trying to hide even from yourself. Then we will walk back to where it actually started. And only after that, I will show you a few ways to stop living like you are the glitch in a world that figured it out. You do not have to take notes. You do not have to agree with everything. You can roll your eyes at parts and still let others land. Just listen and notice what hits a nerve, what makes your stomach drop or your shoulders loosen. Your reactions are as important as any words I say here tonight. None of us entered our 20s and 30s with a blank mind. Long before you worried about careers or timelines, you were already absorbing messages about what a proper life looks like and what it means to be on track. Those messages soaked into you in ways you hardly noticed at the time. Maybe your family had very clear ideas about how life should unfold. By 30 you should have a stable job. By this age you should already have children. You do not want to be the last one still renting. Even if no one said those exact sentences to you, you heard them in the way adults judged other people's choices. You saw pride for those who followed the plan and quiet pity or sharp gossip around those who did not. School added its own rhythm. For years you moved in step with people your age, same classes, same exams, same graduations. You always knew who your year was, and life felt like one long conveyor belt you assumed would keep going. Even when it was stressful, there was comfort in that shared pace. Then adulthood came, and everyone scattered. Some people went straight into jobs, some stayed to study more, some moved back home, some moved abroad, some got married, some had kids, some burned out, some seemed to accelerate, some seemed to stall completely. On the outside, that scattering is normal. That is just life. On the inside, a lot of us still secretly believe there is one invisible timeline, and we measure ourselves against it like it is law. This feeling you carry, I am late, I am wrong, I am off schedule, is not random. It has roots that go deeper than your latest scroll. This is not just you overreacting. There is a reason your body freaks out when other people's timelines flash in front of you. The attachment researcher John Bowlby talked about something he called an internal working model, basically a hidden map of how safety, love and belonging work. You did not get this map from theory. You built it out of thousands of tiny moments while you were growing up. If, when you were young, you could be sad, slow, confused, and the adults around you were mostly warm and present, your body learned, I can take time. I can be myself and still be worth staying for. Then being on track feels flexible, not like a trap. In that case, confusion does not equal disaster. If instead you grew up with comparison, criticism or anxiety, do not fall behind, look at what others have achieved, you are wasting your potential. Some part of you learned a very different rule, one that feels less like guidance and more like a threat. That rule sounds like, I must hurry. I must not be the last. If I do not hit the right milestones on time, I could lose love, respect, safety. Your body remembers that far more deeply than any inspirational quote on your feed. It is wired into how you read silence, success, slowness and the faces of people you care about. So now, in your 20s or 30s, when you scroll other people's milestones or sit with friends who seem further, your nervous system does not just see information. It feels threat. It remembers. Your body reacts as if your place in the tribe is being evaluated again, as if you might be quietly voted out for falling behind. Modern research shows that social pain, exclusion, rejection, feeling left out, lights up many of the same brain areas as physical pain. Know this, when you feel behind and alone, your body is not being dramatic. It is hurting for real. It is sending alarm signals, even if all you are doing is lying on your bed with a phone. Maybe you know this feeling in small scenes. You sit in your room at night, in a city that does not quite feel like home, watching people post about their next step. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts its loop. I am late. I failed. I wasted time. The ache and the story feed each other until you are exhausted. Your nervous system is not your enemy. It is trying to keep you safe, using an old map in a chaotic new world. The feeling of, I am behind, is not proof your life is wrong. It is proof that your sense of safety is handcuffed to a very narrow picture of what, okay, is supposed to look like, a picture you never really chose. You can start cutting that knot. Not in one night and not with one perfect decision. But thread by thread, moment by moment, you can loosen the idea that only one kind of life counts and everything else is failure. That is slow work, but it is real work, and parts of you have already started doing it without a name. There is another piece people rarely talk about. You do not just see milestones, you feel the atmosphere around them. You notice what people say and what they carefully avoid. Your body reads a group chat, a dinner, a reunion faster than your mind can explain why it suddenly wants to leave. Maybe when conversations turn to careers, visas, babies, mortgages, you feel something strange in the room. Sometimes it is real joy and honest stress. Sometimes it feels like everyone is reading lines from a template life. Same lines, different faces. You could swap people and nothing in the script would really change. You say, honestly, I am not sure what is next for me, and the air shifts. Someone rushes to cheer you up, someone changes the subject, someone jokes that you just need to put yourself out there more. And again that small voice inside whispers, people do not really want to sit with my uncertainty. I am supposed to have answers by now. A lot of people deal with this by numbing out. They overwork, they fill every weekend, they rush into relationships or jobs because it is time, and they cannot stand feeling lost. They tell themselves, everyone is like this. You just pick something and push through. It is human. It is understandable. It is also costly. But maybe for you, the signals do not shut up that easily. You feel a job that looks great on paper but empties you out from the inside. You feel a relationship that seems perfect for your age but leaves you lonelier in bed than when you were alone. You feel your whole body tighten every time you agree to a path just because it makes sense. Some nights you almost wish you could switch this off. You envy people who say, whatever, it is fine, and actually mean it. Your inner radar does not let you rest. It keeps buzzing, this is not it. This is not you, until exhaustion starts to look more attractive than truth, and you are tempted to bury your own signals. It is tempting to call that overthinking, too sensitive, too intense. To think, if I could just lower my standards, life would be easier. What if this sensitivity is not a defect? What if it is not proof that you are broken, but proof that some part of you refuses to build an entire life on a lie? The psychologist Erik Erikson described this phase of life as a time for two hard tasks, figuring out who you are and learning how to be close to others without losing that you. Confusion, hunger for something more real, discomfort with ready-made lives, that is not you failing the task. That is the task itself doing its work. Your sensitivity is like an inner radar that screams when you are about to build a whole future on something that does not fit you. It is the part of you that whispers, do not just copy. Do not just rush. Wait until some part of this feels real. That voice is annoying, but it is also one of the most honest parts of you. It does not make you better than friends who are okay with a more traditional path. But it does make your life messier. Fewer neat checkboxes, more nights staring at the ceiling asking, what am I even doing? Neater stories are easier to live and much easier to explain to your parents and to yourself in public. Your hunger for depth, meaning and your own pace collides with a culture obsessed with timelines, aesthetics and checklists. That collision hurts. It can make you feel weird, dramatic, alone, as if you are the only one who cannot just get on with it. But it also tells you something important: your life does not want to be a copy-paste. If you look back over the last few years, you might see a quiet pattern. There were seasons when you really tried to stay inside the approved path. You took jobs that drained you because they were good opportunities. You told yourself a relationship was fine even when you felt small and unseen, because at least you were not single. You said yes to plans that always left you feeling worse when you came home. Slowly, you started disappearing. Laughing while a piece of you wanted to cry. Typing, "I am so happy for you," while another part of you whispered, "I am so behind." Posting pictures from nights out where you felt like a ghost in your own life, smiling on cue. You kept telling yourself this was just how adult life is, that everyone must secretly feel like this. Then, at some point, something in you started saying no. Softly at first. You answered fewer messages. You stopped forcing yourself to go to events that drained you. You let certain friendships fade because they were built only on comparison and gossip. Maybe you left a degree, a job, or a relationship that looked good from the outside but was shrinking you a little more every month. From the outside, it can look like failure. Like giving up. Like wasting your 20s. People might have said that to your face or behind your back, and part of you believed them. Inside, you know it was something else. Not a collapse. An attempt to stop betraying yourself. You were choosing between two kinds of loneliness, even if you did not have those words yet. One is the loneliness of staying half present in a life that fits the picture but not your soul. Stay there long enough and one day you look in the mirror and realize you have built a whole life where you are technically present and emotionally missing. The other is the loneliness of stepping into an in-between phase, where the old life is gone and the new one has not arrived yet. This one feels like a corridor with no clear doors. Step into this second kind and you risk Friday nights that feel like punishment and mornings where you question every choice that led you here. Neither path is soft. Neither is painless. One slowly erases you. The other gives you a chance to finally meet yourself without the noise of everyone else's expectations. Your increased pickiness about jobs, partners, cities, even friends is not about thinking you are above everyone. It is about refusing to live permanently behind a mask just to feel on track. You are tired of acting a role in your own life. You want to feel like a person, not a performance, even if that costs you belonging for a while. And still, you are not special in your struggle. None of us are. We all scroll past someone else's pain. We all drop safe, shallow answers when we are scared. We all have days when we pick what looks good over what feels right, then pretend it was a conscious choice. You are not the only one trying, messing up, trying again. You are human. You are allowed to be in progress. Let us be blunt about the cost, though. This kind of loneliness is exhausting. It is heavy to carry a constant background fear that you are late. It is brutal to hear, "So what is next for you?" when the real answer is, "I have no idea," and that terrifies me. There are weekends when everyone seems busy with partners, kids, projects, and you end up wandering a supermarket aisle wondering if you are the only one who feels lost. There are birthdays that feel less like celebration and more like deadlines. There are moments when even kind advice lands like pressure on your chest instead of support. In that exhaustion, bitterness is always nearby. You might catch yourself thinking, couples are faking it. People with careers sold their souls. People with kids just needed a storyline to hide in. For a second, those thoughts feel like armor, a way to protect yourself from envy. Stay in them too long and they become a cage. Those stories cut you off from real people who could actually understand you. The truth is harder, we are all capable of missing each other. People with sordid lives can be painfully honest. People who look lost can still be running from themselves. No group has a monopoly on truth or illusion. Everyone is a mix. Quiet strength in this phase of life is not about deciding you are the only one awake. It is about staying just awake enough in your own life not to abandon yourself completely. You do not have to be enlightened. You just have to be a little less willing to sell yourself out than you were last year or last month. It looks like choosing fewer but real connections instead of constant background noise. It looks like saying no to a path that makes you disappear, even if saying yes would look impressive on a reunion slide. It looks like taking small, unsexy steps towards a life that fits you, even when you cannot explain it in one neat sentence. From the outside, this strength does not look heroic. No one claps for you for leaving a party early or turning down a job that pays well but eats your soul. On the inside, you can feel it. It is the part of you that refuses to go fully numb, the part that would rather sit in discomfort than live a pretty lie forever. Now let us talk about a few small rebellions you can actually try. Nothing here is magic. There are no instant transformations. But tiny acts of defiance, repeated over time, can change how this season feels on your skin. They can turn pure despair into something closer to difficult, stubborn hope. The first shift is simple to say and hard to practice: change the story, not the feeling. Picture yourself in bed, phone in hand, scrolling. Milestones everywhere. You feel that familiar wave: I am behind. I wasted my 20s. I ruined my life. The shame rises fast, like heat in your face and heaviness in your chest. Most of us do one of two things. We drown in it, letting the spiral run until we are shaking. Or we slap a fake positive sticker on it: stop it. Be grateful. Other people have it worse. Tonight, do not scroll yourself into full self-destruction. Try a different script, even if it feels awkward and stupid at first. Pause. Put the phone down. Name what is happening in the simplest words you can find. Right now I feel behind and ashamed. My chest hurts. My brain is being cruel. No analysis. No debate. Just naming. Then add one more line: even if you half doubt it, this feeling shows how much I care about my life. This is a comparison attack, not the final truth about me. That is it. You are not forcing yourself into, I love my life, oh my God. You are just refusing to let one late-night scroll decide your entire worth. Do this often enough and something shifts. The wave still hits, but it does not automatically mean, I am a failure. It starts to mean, I am a human who wants to belong and is scared they never will. It is still pain. It still stings. But it stops feeling like a death sentence. The second shift is a question that can quietly change a lot: whose timeline is running my life? Take half an hour when you are not totally fried. Grab a notebook or notes app. No aesthetic is needed, no candles, no perfect desk. Write down the ages you secretly hold in your head. By what age do I think I should have a real career? A long-term partner? Kids? A place of my own? Some kind of visible success? Let the numbers spill out. Do not censor or prettify them. These numbers are already living in you. You are just dragging them into the light. Then, next to each age, write where that number actually came from. Family? Culture? Religion? Movies? Social media? Friends? Fear? A single story you heard once that got stuck? Finally, write one raw paragraph starting with, in reality, my life is here right now, and describe it as it is, without turning it into a failure report. You might write, in reality, I am renting a room and still figuring out what kind of work does not kill me. Or, in reality, I am in a relationship that is good in some ways and confusing in others. Or, in reality, I am single and I do not know yet if I even want kids. Whatever is true for you right now is allowed on that page. Then ask, given where I actually am, what do I really need in the next year? Not the next 10 years. Not to catch up. Just the next year. Maybe it is rest. Maybe it is financial stability. Maybe it is therapy. Maybe it is trying a different field. Maybe it is one honest friend. Maybe it is finally grieving something that did not happen. When you see your secret timeline next to your real life, you may realize a lot of your pain comes from chasing a schedule you never wrote. It is like noticing the prison you have been panicking in was drawn in pencil. Not steel bars, but someone else's, by 25 you must, list. It still hurts. But now you can at least see the lines. The third shift is to carve out one small non-comparison zone in your day. So much of this loneliness grows in places where your life is constantly held next to everyone else's. It is hard to hear your own voice when 10 other main characters are shouting from a screen you carry in your hand. Once a day, or a few times a week if every day feels impossible, give yourself 10 minutes without checking who is ahead or behind. No candles, no perfect journaling setup. Just you, your breathing and the annoying fact that this is your life right now. It does not have to feel profound. It just has to exist. Maybe it is coffee before you open your phone. Maybe it is a short walk without podcasts. Maybe it is lying on your bed in the dark, staring at the ceiling. In those 10 minutes, ask yourself one question: what, if anything, actually felt real or slightly good for me today? Not impressive. Not post-worthy. Just real or slightly good. Maybe it was saying no. Maybe it was just surviving a hard day without disappearing. Find one thing and let it land for a second. This is not forced gratitude. It is letting your life exist for a moment as itself, without being compared to anyone else's highlight reel or timeline or curated story. The more often you stand in that tiny space, the less your worth will hang on how closely you match an invisible schedule. You may still want partnership, kids, clarity, stability. Of course you do. But while those things are still forming or still missing, you will be learning how to be with yourself without constant self-hate. That is not a cute wellness habit. That is a survival skill. One day, not in some distant fantasy but sooner than you expect, you will notice something. You will be at a birthday, or on your couch, or on a train home from work, and the old comparison will rise on cue, like a reflex you know too well. She is there. He is there. They are all ahead. The ache will come. The loneliness will come. And next to them a new voice will show up, quieter but stubborn. It will say, "Of course I feel this. My body and my culture train me to measure my life this way. But feeling behind does not automatically mean I am wrong." It will continue, "It means I care about my life and I have not found my place yet. I am allowed to be in between." Erik Erikson might say you are in the real work of this stage, building an identity and figuring out how to be close to others without disappearing. You are not failing the level, you are playing it for real. John Bowlby might say your internal map of safety and belonging is updating, learning that you can be temporarily off script and still be worth staying for. From the outside, your life might still look simple: a small apartment, a not quite dream job, a phone with more quiet moments than loud ones. Nothing flashy. Nothing obvious. Inside, something crucial will have shifted. You will be less willing to call yourself a failure just because you do not match someone else's timeline. You will be more willing to wait for work, friendships, and love that fit who you are becoming, not just who you were trained to be. Your standards will slowly move from anything to something true. You will still have lonely days. You will still cry after long scrolls and weird reunions. You will still have nights where the loading screen feels endless and everyone else seems to be already inside the game. But in the middle of those nights, you will be a little less cruel to yourself, a little less quick to call yourself hopeless. If you recognized yourself in this, let this be your reminder. This chapter will not magically turn pretty. There will still be evenings when other people's news burns like acid on your feed. There will still be mornings when you wake up and think, what am I even doing, and no clean answer shows up. But there will be a difference. You will know this is not proof that you have lost the game. It is proof that you refuse to play on someone else's settings. On the nights when your room feels too quiet and everyone else's life looks like a finished level, you can come back here and press play again. Remember that in hundreds of small rooms, other people your age are standing in the same hallway between lives, asking the same questions into the dark. You are not the only one stuck between chapters. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are in the hardest part of the story, the part where nothing makes sense yet and you keep going anyway.